today I'm interviewing another one of my favorite authors, D.G. Daisy Holloway. Born in Melton Mowbray, England, Daisy now lives in North Carolina. Now, Daisy says that she's a lifelong romance reader who writes emotional love stories that explore mental health, celebrate love in all its forms, and make readers work for that hard-earned happily ever after. And do you ever? She enjoys reading and testing new baking recipes, varying levels of success, I hear. And her newest book, Slow Brew, comes out on August 3rd. Thank you so much for joining me, Daisy.
Thank you for having me.
Oh
I'm
my
so
gosh.
excited.
So I need to fangirl for a moment. Slow Brew
Okay.
is an absolute delight and it's getting rave reviews. We
It
just saw
is.
one today by Carly Reed's Queer that was
I
so
know.
amazing. And
I
then,
cry every day over a new
oh
review.
my
Like I
gosh.
am just like happy tears. Happy tears.
Yes, yes, they're
I'll take
happy
them.
tears, but oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you have created such worlds for us, our the
Uh-huh.
readers. Like it's so wonderful. And then okay,
Thank you.
Salvaged Heart, we're gonna talk about that one later because wow.
Uh-huh.
So okay, so here sits your biggest fangirl, and I can't wait to talk about Slow Brew. I loved it so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so can you start by giving us your 30-second elevator pitch about Slow Brew?
Yeah, definitely. So Slow Brew is a small town, cozy rom-com. It follows Finley. He's 24. He doesn't quite belong. I mean, his home is fine. His family is accepting enough, but he's never quite fit into boxes that he felt was laid out for him. So, kind of on an impulsive decision, he throws a bunch of stuff into a bag and sets off in a car that should not be road legal across the United States with no real destination in mind. And because of that car, he comes to a sputtering stop outside a small North Carolina town and has to be rescued off of the side of the road by the haughty, bearded, tattooed local baker. Because I'm pretty sure every romance is required in a small town to have one haughty baker.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
with him is his 4-year-old precocious niece, Annabelle. So, what starts as a ride turns into an offer of a place to sleep tonight, into a job, and then just evolves into this beautiful, tender love story between two guys who have both given up on love for completely different reasons, but find a reason to kind of hope and try again within each other. So,
Oh
it's
my
sweet.
gosh, that is such a good overview. Like
Did I
that
do good?
totally, yeah, that
Can
was
you tell
great.
I
That like
practiced?
absolutely made it clear. That is so much better than anything I could have done in my review. So yeah, well done. I mean, you wrote them, so hopefully you would
I
know.
mean, but you know, it took me 50,000 words to write it, and then you want me to put it in 30 seconds?
I
It's
do,
so
just because,
hard.
attention spans being what they are these
Right.
days. So, what are some of your favorite qualities of Finley and Owen, or Owie, as Annabelle calls him, that I love?
So, I mean, what's not to love about them, really? I don't think as an author I'm allowed to pick my favorite character. It's
No, no.
probably like picking between children. But Finley's definitely the funnest character I've written. He has this hilarious inner monologue that is going at all hours of the day and night, and just this quick wit, and he's sarcastic, and he can be a little bit self-deprecating and treats himself every now and then to an anxiety spiral. And but underneath it all, he's just this optimistic guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. And even when things feel really rough, he just doesn't give up. He's just got a lot of love to give. And then Owen, I mean, everyone needs an Owen in their life. He's just this strong, steady rock of a presence. He sees Finley. He knows what he needs when Finley can't voice it himself. And while he's a caretaker and he definitely steps into that role with Finley, it never once feels like he is babying him or taking care of him, which is something I want to be very mindful because there is a 15-year age gap. So that could have been very easy to fall into. So I hope I was successful at that, but
You
I
totally
love them
were.
both.
Yes, no, absolutely. I never felt like he was being treated like a child. In fact, I felt like he was working really hard to make sure that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And maybe also to make sure that he didn't fall for this amazing
Right.
Finley who just happened to show up into his life. Like,
He
you know,
tried so hard, but I
uh,
mean, he was fine
he,
at losing
it
that.
was not gonna work. You were talking about the inner monologue, and I have a quote I want to share here from the book because okay, two, because the inner monologue is what had me actually cackling, okay,
Uh-huh.
as I was reading this book. So he's talking about Owen, who is talking to his niece in the back seat, and Owen says, "That's exactly right, princess." And he winks at her reflection in the rear view mirror. And I swear to God, I grow a uterus and start ovulating right there in the passenger seat. That's hysterical. That absolutely got me. And then, living in Canada, you brought my Schitt's Creek people into the mix
I
here.
love that show.
Oh my God, me too. And then, like, just randomly, he's like trying to do something that Owen's teaching him how to do, and he's like, "Yeah, fold in the cheese, got it."
Uh-huh.
Like fold in the cheese, like that. You have to know, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Well,
yeah,
it
that
was
was.
funny because that chapter was actually the last chapter I wrote. I felt like I needed kind of there was a missing something, and we needed actually, some of my beta feedback was that we needed more of Delilah's story and how the cafe came to be. So it was sort of like the inserted chapter at the end. And when I was kind of going through and trying to figure out exactly what I was going to do, I just had in quote, brackets, fold in the cheese moment. I'll come back to it later. And then that just ended up working its way permanently into the
Uh,
books.
so good, and rest in peace, Catherine
I
O'Hara. Because oh my
know.
gosh, yeah,
Hmm.
such a brilliant show. But and that's why I couldn't be a beta reader because I'm too gushy about how much I love
Uh-huh.
everything, and I would
It's a
never be able to give
difficult
critique.
role. It's hard to find, obviously you want someone who is passionate and excited about your books, but you need to find someone who can balance that hype with, here are the things that aren't working, or we need more of this, or push this a little bit further. And I am very, very blessed that I have a whole slew of amazing alpha and beta readers. My mother is one, and she's
Oh,
absolutely fantastic. She's actually a self-published author herself, so she's
oh,
a
no
great
kidding.
resource. And then a really good friend of mine who is not afraid to tell me where I'm falling short, but can deliver it in the most comforting, warm hug kind of way. So I'm
Oh,
very blessed.
I love that. I read these books and I'm just so impressed by the writers who
Uh-huh.
have these imaginations because I wish I did. But I'm glad you all do. Did you have any sort of surprises that came up as you were writing? Like, did any of the characters surprise you as you were writing and you're just like, "Oh my, this is what's going to happen," and wow.
Every single second of the book. So authors, we tend to fall into two categories, right? We have the plotters and then we have the pantsers. And I am definitely a pantser. I mean, pretty much every book I've written, I've started with a couple scenes in my mind and then a few tropes I wanted to explore, but no real idea of how we were connecting these scenes, where we were going by the end, how it
Oh
was
my gosh.
gonna finish. So, and nowhere was that more true than with Slow Brew. So I actually started that book right after I published my last one, The Official Problem. And I was kind of in a headspace where I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep being an author, at least,
Oh,
publicly. I loved writing, but all the things that came with it, the social media, the constant marketing, it was kind of weighing on my mental health a little bit. So I decided to take a step back. Every November, there's this writing challenge. It's been called a million different things. But the goal is to write 50,000 words in the month of November, which I didn't do. I will make it very clear I failed that challenge. But I decided to use it as an excuse to just sit down and start writing without any plan or any goal. I mean, Finley and Owen didn't get names until chapter 6. And I
oh my
finally was
gosh.
like, you know what? I think this might actually be going somewhere. But my intent was never to publish it. This was supposed to be like a throwaway thing, just kind of reset that mental energy and then to dive into what I'd always thought the next project would be. So yeah, I have no control of my characters. They tug me around, they lead me wherever they want. There were a few times I sat down, I was like, you know what? This is where I want the scene to end. And they said, thanks, but no thanks, and took it in a different direction.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's
Uh-huh.
amazing. Sadie Hepworth told me a similar thing. She said she was walking one day and then all of a sudden like one of her characters like started yelling at her.
They do.
And she
They
was
just start
right?
screaming. It's usually when you're, putting your head on your pillow, ready to, go to sleep, and they just start screaming. Or driving, the amount of voice notes I have in my phone of me just monologuing ideas because I couldn't pull over and type them out fast enough.
That's amazing. Well, in this book now, you try to bake, so like baking
Mhm.
is not entirely unfamiliar to you. But did you have to
Yeah.
research anything like that you ended up researching far deeper than you needed to?
Not particularly with this book, and I know you want to talk about Savage Heart in a little bit. So
I
not to jump
do.
ahead, I say funny. It's not really a funny story, but it was very important to me to authentically, tell and his struggles with addiction and journey to recovery. So I put a lot of effort and research into that book to the point where Google thought I was in active crisis. I was getting hotline numbers at every
Oh
available
my
support groups
gosh.
recommended. I was fearful at one point the cops were going to show up to do a welfare check
Oh my
because Google
gosh.
was concerned about my mental well-being. I wrote Slow Brew, and kind of what made it such a fun project and that kind of having no plan was I wrote a lot of my life into it. I wrote a lot of my kind of hopes, things I'm insecure about, things I've struggled with. I peppered in little pieces of my life into both Finley and Owen. Just really wrote from the heart about my experiences in the world. And of course, I did a little bit of research because you never want to assume that your lens is the same for everyone else. And I wanted to be
Sure.
very mindful of that. But yeah, this wasn't a heavy research book for me, which definitely made it fun. I mean, sometimes the research is what bogs you down. I'm very that person. I have to know everything about everything. So if I have to research one thing, I am all the way in the rabbit hole, and like it will take me weeks to come out and come back to writing. So it was kind of nice not
Same.
to have that block.
Oh, oh my gosh, for real, totally the same. So I'm gonna jump into Salvage Heart right now because
Uh-huh.
you mentioned it, but I also like before I jump deeply into that, you mentioned that you wrote yourself a little bit into Finley and Owen, right?
Hmm.
And I'm just sort of wondering, these settings, these places that you have used, these small towns, the peninsula in Salvaged Heart, are these places that are familiar to you somehow for
Yeah.
some reason? Are they real
Yeah.
places in your
So
mind?
So I live in North Carolina. I don't live in a small town. I'm just outside of Charlotte, but I drive through them a lot. So, and they have this really kind of quaint old like Americana feel to them. They almost feel like they've just frozen in time. So I wanted to kind of capture that, and obviously sprinkle a little Hallmark because everyone loves some Hallmark. But the Salvaged Heart, pretty much every single location of that is a real life place. The bar that they go to is a place I go to regularly. They have amazing cover bands there. I wrote a lot of it sitting on my parents' screened-in porch, looking out over Lake Norman because they have a house on the
Oh,
lake. So looking at all these like mini mansions around the lake, all the roads and the cafe and all of those places, real places that I see every single day. So it was kind of nice to write it in and kind of
yeah.
put that little bit of home in there.
That bar where they have the cover bands, do you happen to know, do they actually have a night where they don't serve
I
alcohol?
don't know. That definitely was a little fiction sprinkled in, and it would be great if they did.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking that we have up here in Halifax, we have some bars that are like, mocktail bars, but
right.
like I haven't heard of bars that like actually close down their liquor service and like put stuff away
I think it
so
would be
that
very
people with
successful if
addiction.
they,
Yes.
yeah, they
Oh my
did.
gosh, it's such a great idea. Salvage Heart.
Yeah.
Listen, you broke me. You broke me hard on
Apologies.
Salvage
It's
Heart.
very different. You read them in the right order.
Oh my gosh. I cried. I was worried. I was freaking out and then thank God you put me back together because if you had left me in that place, we would be having a very different conversation right now. Cuz did you have any particular inspiration for the story of Beck and Anders?
It's funny, if you had asked me that before I started or even while I was writing it, I would have said no. However, my dear friend I was telling you about who Alpha and Beta reads for me, we actually met from Salvage Heart. The very first message she sent me was that she wanted to throat punch Laurel, and it's just evolved into this beautiful friendship. But we were kind of having a heart to heart, and I was telling her how I wrote Salvage Heart in the middle of separating from my husband, and it was kind of my escape, and I poured a lot of myself and my emotions into it as a distraction. And I was kind of telling her a little bit about the end of my marriage. And she's like, "Oh, so you're back and he's Laurel." And I was like, "Oh." So the whole,
Yeah.
back and really knowing kind of what his next steps is and kind of feeling suddenly lost and like, oh my goodness, I've been following someone else's dream. It was like a slap in my face. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh my
So it's funny how
God.
you work through these things on the page. So
You do. It's therapy. It's
it is.
absolutely therapy. The ending that you wrote for the two of them, thank heaven, was so beautiful. And I read it probably two or three times because I just had to make sure that it was real. Do you have a message for people who might be going through, recovery from addiction and trying to figure out their own place in the world?
I mean, at the end of the day, I really want people to see something of themselves in my story and take it away. Now, whether that's that they relate to a character or a specific journey, or maybe they just feel a little less alone by the time they finish it. I mean, if I achieve that, that to me is paramount. Hearing someone loves your story is the most amazing feeling. But when someone reaches out and says, I connected with X, Y, and Z, and I felt seen in this character, I mean, that just goes beyond. So I really, like you said, I just wanted to leave it on a sense of hope and kind of triumph. I wanted to be very careful that I wasn't writing a love fixes mental health story. I mean, that's very easy to do, but it was very
Yeah.
important to me that Anders get that on his own with Beck as his like backup, but that he kind of completed that journey full circle for himself. So I just hope that, people see something in it that they maybe, if it inspires them to reach out for help or maybe open up to someone, I think I accomplished kind of what I was hoping
Oh
for.
my gosh, I can totally see it. I hope people read this, and I know a lot of people in the queer community suffer with addiction, just like in any other community, of course. And I just hope people will see that, because it's important. So the
Yeah.
audiobook of Salvage Heart just came out in May,
Hmm.
and I'm wondering, what can you tell us about it, and what was it like hearing your characters' voices for
Yeah.
the first time with somebody else reading them? It's gonna be a
I
trip.
mean, so incredibly cool. I mean, just like an out of body experience. And it had always been kind of that milestone for me of if I have an audiobook, that means I made it. But it never
Yeah.
felt like obtainable. I mean, they're really expensive to produce and nothing I could ever afford. So when my rep at Tantor reached out to me, he sent me a DM on Instagram. I was 100% sure it was a scam. I was like, there's no way they want my little book. Like, it's going to be some huge thing. But there's this author support group on Facebook. And I kind of said, oh, I got this message from this guy. And they were like, no, no, he's legit. Like, email him. So I did, and yeah, they ended up purchasing the rights and paying for it all, which was amazing. And ended up with two absolutely incredible narrators. So Nathaniel Ames voices Anders, and Landon Reed does Beckham. And I was just completely blown away. I mean, of course, I got their auditions, so I kind of knew what they were going to bring to the character. And then we don't see it until, or hear it until it's 100% done.
Oh, no kidding.
So I had a few samples sent to me. I could request three samples of the book once it was done, but they were like 3 minutes in length each. So yeah, when it comes out on Audible for you guys, that was the first time I'd heard it from start to finish. And usually I'm that person. I have my audiobook in, I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm driving around, doing all my things. But I think I just sat on the couch, like stuck still for 9 hours straight. Just
Oh my gosh.
listened to it from start to finish and cried along with the book. And I don't remember writing it that sad. Like, I don't know what they did. But these guys, you could tell that they put so much heart into it. I got a really lovely message on Instagram from Nathaniel about how he connected with the characters and was crying while narrating it. And it was just, you could just really tell that they kind of loved the story and gave it everything. So it turned out really beautifully. But super cool experience.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And I have a hard time sitting still for an audiobook, and I live like 5 minutes from work, right? So I never
Uh-huh.
have like a long
I
car
know, I'm
drive
the
to do an
same way.
audiobook. So I really want to listen to it because I want to hear that emotion. Like I have, I've created all these scenes in my head from the way you described
Uh-huh.
it, right? You gave me a very clear picture. And there was this one scene after the diner where Anders is kind of breaking down, and that's like I would love, like in the car
Uh-huh.
with Beckham,
Yeah.
and I would just love to hear that, like just to hear how that came about. And oh God,
Yeah.
it's such
They
a
they
good
did an amazing
book.
job.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I need to like those voice actors then. I need to find those people and like
Uh-huh.
them because if they've done a good job for you, then maybe they can teach me because I think
Yeah.
voice acting would be something I would find amusing at some point. I have a
Right. I
very deep
know.
voice. I could play anything. Well, except maybe a little girl. That I don't think I'd be able to pull off
Yeah,
with this
I
timbre.
would be terrible about it. I couldn't stay in the accent. I mean, neither of these guys are Southern, and they just stayed in that accent the whole time. I mean, to me, that blows my mind. Is just the fact they can, slip in and out of these voices, and then keep track of the side characters also and the accents for them.
Right.
I don't know how they do it. I can't
Yeah.
keep
I
track
mean,
of my own accent. I flip back and forwards. You probably heard it between accents. So
now when I read your stuff, I'm going to hear it a little bit differently, Daisy. I'm going to hear a little bit more of a British than a Southern, but
right,
oh, who was it? Yeah, you actually conquered those accents really well in the book.
Grace.
Grace, who's Finley's bestie now, her accent rings through. Like you can tell you've lived in the South,
Uh-huh.
right? Because I'm hearing that accent as I'm reading the page, and I'm like, dang, she's good. And I knew
It's
you
so
were from the UK, and I was
yeah.
like, wait, I wonder if she has a Southern accent. Has she lived there that long? Nope.
Nope. Well, it's funny because I have another friend who I met kind of through the book community, and she's from Kentucky, and she has just this super, super Southern. I mean, it's just adorable, like Southern Belle. I laugh whenever she talks because it's just so, Southern and quirky and everything. And so I had her kind of in the back of my mind every time I wrote Grace's lines, and I even made her record some for me and like send them
Oh,
to me. So
fun. That's a great
with a joke, I
idea.
was like, oh, well, when we do the audiobook, we can just slip you right in there.
But half joke, half boy, wouldn't
Right,
that have been
half.
fun?
This might actually work.
Okay, so the last question that I have is: there more in store in the future for our slow brew characters, Finley and Owen, or did you leave it exactly where you want to leave that story, and that's we're going to use our imaginations for the rest?
So I'm going to be a little bit coy with this answer because I
Ooh,
haven't, I've got several storylines kind of nibbling away at the back of my brain. I'm forcing myself to at least take a month-long break. I'm not going to write anything for a month.
good.
Try and reset that creativity. But I've got a few storylines that are bugging me relentlessly. Quite a few of them have residence in Windy Pine. So I think we will see Owen and Finley at least as a supporting cast. But I have a
Keep
bad
it
time,
close to the vest.
like it's almost like the second I acknowledge a character, they stop talking to me. So I'm like trying to pretend that they're not whispering in my ear right now. But I will say I was very intentional with how I left the end of Slow Brew. There is a reason why I did not do the typical jump a year, jump 5 years into the future. I kind of wanted to leave it where maybe there will be more. I think it'd be really fun to do like a Christmas novella. It will not be this Christmas, but like a Christmas novella or like something fun for them in the future. So I'm by no means committing. Do not hold me to this,
No,
but
no,
I
no
kind of
commitment at
wanted
all.
to.
Some of us are just going to be sitting here like waiting every
I know, just
year.
like
Is this going to be the year?
right.
I'm going to put it under my Christmas tree if you do it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, that's great. What a I mean, it's a fantastic little idea.
I think it'd be fun, to pull them out, dust them back off, for something cute, something fun. So we'll never say
Something that
never.
doesn't take all of your like.
Right. And that's the thing, my previous two books were very, very heavy writes. So kind of having this in my back pocket is kind of this fun, it was a joke when I started writing it. It was like, imagine if I tried to write a rom-com. And then here we are.
As it turns out,
As
that
it
might
turns
just be the
out,
thing.
right, maybe this is the thing I should have been doing all along. I don't
Oh, no, well, okay. Now, for you, perhaps, but for us, I'm just gonna say,
know.
Salvaged Hearts. Holy, and thank you for the epilogue for actually giving them the 10 years later bit. Like, oh God, it was just so perfect. Oh, you did such a beautiful work.
Thank
All
you.
right, so now for something a little bit different. We're
Uh-huh.
going to talk the Proust questionnaire. So
Okay.
Marcel Proust was this French writer, and he used to play parlor games in the early 1900s, and he was a gay friend of ours. And
Hmm.
these questions would spur conversation in the parlors. Vanity Fair brought them back several years ago. There's 35 of them. And
Okay.
so
I should have read
here
them
is
all before we did this, so I could have prepared.
I gave away too much to my next interview, and she's
Uh-huh.
already read them all. So now I
Oh
need to think
gosh.
of something. I've got an evil little trick up my sleeve for
Oh
that one.
goodness.
Okay, so here's your question:
Okay.
if you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what would it be?
That is so hard.
I know I haven't thought about an answer either.
I think it would be kind of cool to be a cat. I don't know. They have it really good. I mean, they sleep all day, they get pets, they, don't care if the human lives or dies. That seems pretty cool.
I
It's a really
totally
badass.
agree. As my cats are napping somewhere around the house right now,
Uh-huh.
little freeloaders. Yeah,
Good
totally.
vibes.
Being a cat would be great,
It
right?
would be great.
Yeah, I would be a bird
Uh-huh.
because I love to fly. I
Okay,
was a
yeah.
pilot. I've been a flight
Oh my
attendant.
goodness.
I
Uh-huh.
love to fly. So, like, I definitely want to be like, I don't know, like an eagle or a falcon or something
Uh-huh.
like,
Something really
you know,
cool.
something cool and brave and
Uh-huh.
fast. And yeah. But I just thought that's a fun little question.
It
And I love
is,
the answer
yeah.
cat because, yeah, I want to play with a little ball of yarn and smack it around and then take a
Right.
long nap from all the
If I could
exertion.
just be like an orange fur baby, because those are the best kinds of cats. I don't know if you have orange cats, but they are the
I've had three.
best. Yeah,
I've had three and I've got one now.
they're
And
little personalities.
did you ever see Saturday Night Live, the Dunice sketch with her sisters?
Yes, I did. Uh-huh. Yes.
And I'm Dunice.
Yeah.
I call my cat Dunice
Oh, that's
because
so
he's
funny.
like, he's just so silly and he's got his little hands and he's always trying to like get my
Oh
attention.
my goodness. I love
Oh my gosh.
that.
Daisy Holloway, I am so excited to have been able to talk to you today. DG Holloway has written Slow Brew and it comes out on August 3rd. And I am so excited to see it on the shelves. It's another one that I'm going to buy because it's actually a really pretty cover as
It is
well. Your cover
gorgeous.
artist did a
Yes.
great
Uh-huh.
job.
Oh my goodness.
So good, right?
Hmm.
And it's a rom com and it's a sweet and easy read and it's got a lovely happily ever after ending. And then if you want to be tortured by Gigi's work, you're also going to read Salvaged Heart,
Yeah.
happily ever after. But oh my God, you're going to go through it with these boys. DG Holloway, Daisy, you are such a joy. Thank you so much for taking the
Oh,
time to
thank
visit
you
me.
so much for having me. This was so much fun.